Good afternoon, welcome down to Cougar Park for this afternoon's Arriva Trains Cup game against the Halifax Blue Sox. Halifax lining up at number 1, Scott Cricks, 2, Richard Smith, 3, Chris Norm, 4, Alan Hadcraft, 5, Danny Arnold, 6, Simon Griggs, 7, Mark Moxon, 8, Anthony Farrell, 9, Phil Cantillon, 10, James Chapman, 12, Wayne Corcoran, 11, Wayne Corcoran, 12, Chris Morlin, 13, Pat Wisner. Subs for Halifax at 14, Ollie Mans, 15, Danny Fearon, 16, Ryan McDonald, 17, Paul Davidson. The referee for this afternoon is Mr. Peter Tabiner from Wigan. I'll run through the Keighley team as soon as I get a chance, but Halifax kicking off into the teeth of a gale. And a horrible rain, but we get underway. That's Lee Patterson and Dave Foster. That's Chris Parker, Phil Stevenson taking Cougars just 10 metres short of the halfway line. There's Chris Parker. And Simeon Oil at Hackton half back onto Phil Stevenson. Phil Stevenson just breaking through the first tackle. That's the last one. Danny Firth. Oh, it's the high ball. It's Matty Firth. That looks like a knock on. Looks like Halifax 2-shot ball. Which he did, and a run through the Keighley team at number 1, James Rushforth, 2, Max Tomlinson, 3, Dave Foster, 4, Matt Foster, 5, Andy Robinson, 6, Adam Mitchell, 7, Matty Firth, 8, Phil Stevenson. As Craig McDowell breaks from the base of that scrum, Simeon Hoyle from acting half-back, looking to go in, he's gone in for an early try right under the post for the Keighley Cougars. Early score for the Keighley Cougars. Simeon Hoyle just skipping his way through from acting half-back and down under the post. Remaining line-up is 8 Phil Stevenson, 9 Simeon Hoyle, 10 Chris Parker, 11 Matt Steele, 12 Lee Patterson, 13 Craig McDowell, and the subs at 14 Craig Nipperis, 15 Chris Beaver, 16 Jason Clegg and 17 Danny Eakes. So just a start that the Cougars wanted.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So it's early doors, it's Keighley Cougars 4, Halifax Blue Sox 0. And Adam Mitchell from right in front of the post converts. So early doors down at Cougar Park. It's Keighley Cougars 6, Halifax Blue Sox 0. Halifax yet to touch the ball apart from the kick-off, but the high kick from Matty Firth, which was knocked into touch by Halifax, gave Keighley that second set of 6, and they made it count.
Scoreboarding operation this afternoon due to the high wind.
So Phil Stevenson taking that ball down at the 20. It's Max Tomlinson looking for a way through, just runs cross field and eventually tackles centre field, 22 metres out from his own post. Simeon Hoyle onto Chris Parker. And Simeon Hoyle, Matty Firth and McDowell. And that ball along to Matty Firth. He's tackled just inside the Halifax half of the field. Matty Firth once again puts a kick through. This time picked up by Scott Griggs, the Halifax fullback. Mr. Tabiner telling Max Tomlinson you're offside, Max. However, it's a penalty to Halifax. They're put into touch away on the far side. That'll be Michael's hand just wiping the screen.
rest, Philip.
So Halifax in possession, just about 30 metres out from the Cougar try line. That's Cantillon and Farrell. And Farrell tackled on that 20 metre line. Cantillon and Halifax taking the ball down that 10 metre line. Cantillon once again along the line. This is Pat Wisner. And Halifax and Simon Griggs going in for their first try of the afternoon. It's Danny Arnold, the try scorer, up to number 6. So it's Keighley Cougars 6, Halifax 4. So Wayne Corcoran going to try and tag on the 2 points, bring it all square down here at Cougar Park. And he pushes that kick wide of the right hand upright, so score remains at Keighley 6, Halifax 4.
Happy birthday, and from all your friends.
So Adam Mitchell hoists that ball downfield, and Anthony Farrell eventually picking that ball up, playing a bit of football with it. So Halifax having to come away from their own try line. Cantillon in at the acting half-back berth. That's Corcoran. And Hadcroft. See, last tackle. Halifax once again put a little kick downfield, but Max Tomlinson picking that one up safely for the Cougars. And Rushforth. And Andy Robinson going in to the acting half-back berth, making a good few yards for the Cougars down towards that 20 metre line. It's Simeon Hoyle, Matty Firth. Matty Firth puts a boot to ball. Picked up by Scott Griggs. And Adam Mitchell stopping him just short of the halfway line. That's Danny Arnold. And Cantillon. And Halifax just 10 metres inside the Cougar half, moving it along the line. It's Griggs and James Chapman. Last tackle once again. Little kick through. And Max Tomlinson just sliding on the wet surface, putting the ball in a touch. So it'll be a drop out under the post. This statement, it's gone down at Cougar Park. Score is Keighley Cougar 6, Halifax 4. And not the longest dropout in the world as Halifax back down just 12 metres out from the Cougar line. It's Farrell. And Griggs. And that's James Chapman. Halifax just a couple of metres out from that try line. And Alan Hadcraft. And Halifax trying to get in at that corner. Tackled right on that touchline side. Ball comes out. Little crossfield kick, another tester for the Keighley defence. But that ball ends up and eventually Mr. Tabiner penalising Halifax for offside. A quick play the ball from Matty Foster with Halifax all at sea, and Adam Mitchell fancying his chances from 45 metres out. Wind behind.
Yeah, they equated to numbers. They looked at the shirt over the time and they shoved it across so that they didn't look good around and got it fixed up. Yeah, they just took the other.
So Adam Mitchell. Looks straight enough, but just fading to the left-hand side of the post, had the length, just not the direction. So Halifax to drop out on their own 20. And ball picked up by Matty Steele as Keighley come across field with Chris Parker. And Adam Mitchell looking for a way through, but Anthony Farrell just keeping hold of him. It's Simeon Hoyle, Matty Firth, McDougall. But that ball just going to ground. And Halifax come towards the halfway line with Chris Morley and Farrell. Cantillon once again in acting half-back onto Pat Wisner. And that's the last tackle once again. And it's gone into touch. Pat Wisner, the guilty party. Yeah, that's Phil Stevenson. And Patterson. And Simeon Oil Mitchell looking to go on his own, and a live wire in that standoff berth. And it's Simeon Oil. Matty Firth, McDowell, Matt Foster. That's the last one. And crossfield kick, but straight into the arms of the Halifax defence. And Hadcroft. And Farrell. And Cantillon goes from acting half-back, Keighley. We're well aware of Cantillon's ability around that ruck area. Need to keep him quiet this afternoon as Halifax just push the ball out to the right-hand side. And another kick from Halifax. Max Tomlinson picking that one up cleanly and sets off once again across field. Eventually tackled just 10 metres out from his try line. It's Robinson. Halifax not stood square. So Adam Mitchell puts the ball into touch. Good kick from Adam using the wind. Keighley just inside the Halifax half of the field with Chris Parker. And Simeon Hoyle, Matty Firth, Mitchell. And knock on. Not the best ball to take in these conditions, right down at his ankles. So it'll be scrum down, Halifax head and ball.
It's the golden with all three straight.
So Halifax from that scrum. And Cantillon in at acting half-back.
Just throw him in.
So Mr. Tabiner penalising Keighley for offside, second time this afternoon. Mr. Tabiner penalised Keighley and Halifax put that ball into touch about 10 metres out from the try line. It's Paul Davidson. And Cantillon, Ryan McDonald. He's tackled just short. Cantillon once again. Halifax had men over, but and Mr. Tabiner
but you know, if somebody goes around knocking heads off,
so Patterson and Phil Stevenson. Cougars just on the halfway line, and Matty Firth, Adam Mitchell, and a good break from Matty Steele. He's got Rushforth with him, and Rushforth still good. He's still good. He's still Rushforth under the post. Super try from the Cougars, but what a lovely break from Matty Steele onto Rushforth, and had a lot of work to do, James Rushforth, but run onto that ball well in full flight and just cruised past the Halifax defence for the second try of the afternoon for the Keighley Cougars.
Break there from number 11, Matt Steele.
So it's making the score now, Keighley Cougars 10, Halifax 4.
And successful conversion for number 6, Adam Mitchell.
So Adam tagging on the extras. So it's now Keighley Cougars 12, Halifax 4. Just 19 minutes gone in this first half.
I forgot to take that going.
And Halifax put that ball deep down to the Keighley line. It's Phil Stevenson.
Adam Mitchell is sponsored by MPNS Consortium.
And Tomlinson.
James Rushington is too. Thank you to MPNS.
So Ryan McDonald penalised at the play the ball, not releasing. Ryan McDonald, ex-Dewsbury Rams player. As Mitchell puts that ball into touch once again. Right on the halfway line, it's Matty Firth and Simeon Hoyle, Phil Stevenson. Matty Firth and Rushforth. And that's Max Tomlinson. Matty Firth, Mitchell. Mitchell trying to find a way through the defence. He's eventually brought down some 20 metres out from the Halifax try line. That's Matty Steele making some good inroads once again towards the Halifax defence. And it's the last tackle, Matty Firth. And Mr. Taberner penalising Keighley for offside.
Complete set though, yeah? Yeah.
So Halifax just put the ball into touch away on that far side. And a late arrival in the gantry this afternoon, Nigel, as Halifax move towards the halfway line. And that's Chris Morley and Hadcraft, Danny Arnold. Last tackle once again for the
Another man.
and that ball just bouncing awkwardly in the wind. Mick not having much success with a clean camera at the moment.
Dry camera.
So it'll be a dropout under the post.
Previous substitutes, number 16 Jason Flake and number 17 Danny Eakes replaced number 8 Phil Stevenson and number 10 Chris.
Tell you what, let's be on to the crap. Ben Taylor. Right? So tell me what.
So that's Mark Moxon.
Penalty count was 17-8, 17-6.
And Ryan McDonald being driven back at the moment by the Cougar defence. And that's Paul Davidson. And Cantillon, Wisner, Sandcraft.
Max Tomlinson there. He moved up on that.
And Wisner, Cantillon. And that's the last tackle. Cantillon trying to buy a penalty. Pat Wisner.
Get in the air.
And once again a tantalising kick, with this time Keighley coming down with it. It's Rushforth. And Danny Akis.
Danny, get away, Danny!
And Ryan McDonald just trying to soften up Danny Akis. Then back chats Mr. Taberner. Results in another penalty to the Cougars. Equidistance to the one he failed with a while ago, but
And Matt Smith have got engaged. Congratulations to you both from all your family and friends. Congratulations, sir.
All right, guys.
Got engaged
All right.
yesterday.
I just saw first strike as I came in at a couple of hours.
Late on parade, eh?
I was here for 2:30. Oh, some music plays.
so Adam Mitchell. And this time the flags are raised.
And a successful penalty conversion for Keighley Cougar number 6, Adam Mitchell.
Making the score, Keighley Cougars 14, Halifax 4.
And a little bit of wind. Listen
Just-
to our intrepid scoreboard operator, Alan. Congratulations, Alan. Well done, mate. The temporary scoreboard is the Keighley Cougars 14. Halifax 4.
So Halifax once again get things underway.
Hey, how can I give that?
And Mr. Taberner giving a knock on, not too sure whether Adam got anywhere near that ball. If anything, it bounced over the top of him, but and Halifax and Alan Adcraft going in at the corner.
And it's right there for Halifax's number 4, Alan Hadcroft.
No, you don't.
I'd like to thank all our sponsors today down here at Cougar Park. The main match sponsor today is Keighley. The man of the match sponsor is Raymond Pearson and his family. And the match ball sponsor is Fresh Radio. Not forgetting our other sponsors, Harrison and Glove and Rex Proctor. A big thank you to you all.
So when Corcoran with not an easy kick into the teeth of the wind.
Go on this side, of course, this time. Not ball, isn't it? No, you do it. That's how we had ball.
So score remains at Keighley Cougars 14, Halifax 8.
It remains Keighley Cougars 14, Halifax 8.
So Adam Mitchell puts that ball downfield. That's Ryan McDonald. And that's excellent tackling from the Keighley Cougars. Ryan McDonald on the charge, just picked up and dumped into touch. He'll not like that, what the big fella. So it's scrum down at Keighley Cougar head and ball. Just 22 metres out from that try line. And Mitchell and Rushforth and Simeon Hoyle. Danny Akis just slipping on the surface. And Simeon Hoyle, Mitchell, Halifax trying to do the same to McDowell, but Mr. Taberner calling hell before he's thrown into touch. So Cougar still on the charge with Jason Clegg. And Adam Mitchell, Matty Firth stepping inside. That's the last tackle, Cougars, and it's a penalty to the Cougars. Halifax Blue Sox just having a second snap in that tackle. So Adam Mitchell with a chance to tag another 2 points on. So Adam more or less straight in front of the post. And Adam just slots at between the uprights, is making the score now. Keighley Cougars 16, Halifax 8.
Adam is sponsored by MKNS Consortium.
And just half an hour gone down here at Cougar Park.
It's the Cougars 16, Halifax 8.
As the rain comes once again down here at Cougar Park. Adam Mitchell on to Jason Clegg. And Jason running that ball out to the 20-metre line. It's Tomlinson. And Danny Akis. And Ryan McDonald arriving at Danny Akis' head, causing that ball to come out. That ball along the line, Halifax about 25 metres out. And Moxon. And Cantillon on to Davidson. Halifax just 4 or 5 metres out from the Cougar try line. It's Pat Wisner. So Halifax trying to wriggle over from the play of the ball, but that's the last tackle. And Ryan McDonald is going to be caught in possession.
That's great defence from Alex there. They got the ball and he held him up.
So that's a handover. Max Tomlinson looking to find a way down the Cougar Park slope. Good run from Max Tomlinson. And Simeon Hoyle and Matty Steele put to ground. It's Matty Firth. McDowell looking to offload the ball, keeps hold of it. Cougars just inside the Halifax half of the field. Danny Akis. And Simeon Hoyle having a run at the defence. That's the last tackle. Another good set of 6 from the Cougars, taking the ball almost full length of the field. Matty Firth looking for a 1-pointer, bounce off the upright. And Halifax lucky to get away with that one. But Halifax stopped in full flight about 15 metres out from the try line. Coming down this short side again with Danny Arnold, it looks like. It's actually Alan Adcraft, but Pat Wisner. And cancel on. And Dave Foster. And Simeon Hoyle, Danny Ickes on the charge. And Matty Firth. It's McDowell. It's Matt Foster. Inside to Andy Robinson. Cougars once again making good progress. It's the last one right on the 10-metre line. Back to Matty Firth. And that should be back to one, but ball thrown out on the last tackle, picked up by Halifax. But Cougar defence keeping Halifax at bay. Down on that 20. And Cantillon bringing the ball out to this left-hand side once again. There's Pat Wisner in at acting half-back. And the weather conditions out there absolutely awful at the moment. A howling gale. Just wait for Mr. Taberner to decide whose head and ball this is going to be. So Cougars getting the head and feed. And Adam Mitchell. And Matty Foster coming off that left centre position, now centre field. And Andy Robinson. And Simeon Hoyle. Good run from Simeon. Steps inside, just losing his feet, but tackles a couple of metres out from the Halifax try line. Quick hands from the Cougars. Matty Firth coming back inside. It's the last tackle. And Simeon Hoyle at McDowell. He puts a little kick through the defence. And Halifax just keeping that ball alive. And Halifax and Cougars this time caught not standing square at the play of the ball, just gone up to 38 minutes played in this first half. Halifax putting that ball into touch on that far side. And Farrell, big strong front row forward for Halifax. And Halifax still going forward. It's Pat Wisner and Hadcraft. And some good handling, but that ball going to ground. James Chapman just losing that ball. It's Tomlinson back in possession for the Cougars as we move up towards the half-time move to just over a minute to go.
Push for him!
And Matty Firth puts a kick downfield. That's one for Griggs to chase, but It's going to go just a bit too far. It'll be a tap on the 20. Cantillon. And Craig Nippers on the part for the Cougars. As Moxon moves things to the right hand side for Halifax, who just move into the Cougar half of the field. Onto Farrell. Farrell driving forward, taking 3 defenders with him as he goes. And Halifax put on there, but that is the half-time hooter down at Cougar Park. Entertaining first half in the conditions here at Cougar Park. Half-time score down at Cougar Park is Keighley Cougars 16, Halifax 8. So Cougars got a tough job in the second half. 16-8 up, playing into the teeth of the strong wind. Fax coming down the hill.
We might get blown up though.
Start your watch. So Anthony Farrell knocking on. Mr. Tabiner signaling a knock on. So Cougars.
Danny Fair on?
Danny Fair on. They're going up now. In a red shirt.
So Cougars from that scrum, moving the ball well. It's Danny Ekis. He's tackled just 10 metres out from that line. Jason Clegg on the charge. Takes 3 men to bring the big paramedic down. And McDowell, Matty Firth inside to Matty Steele. Good to see Matty Steele back out there playing first team rugby. Nippers, McDowell. He's held up Mr. Tabiner. Arm raised in the air. That's the last one. There's Cougars and Matty Steele, but that should be back to 1. He's played at that ball. Mr. Tabiner still got his arm raised in the air. And we've played down in back play. I couldn't understand why he kept his arm off that last tackle. He played at that ball, he kicked it. So Halifax and Hadcraft trying to get that ball down to the 20. Just can't see the player is down in back play. Looks like Matty Foster. So Halifax bringing the ball away, going to use this wind in the second half. That'll be a 40-20 kick. It's scrum down, Halifax, head and ball. So we're in danger of being blown away on this gantry. Oh, and Halifax knocking that ball on straight away. That ball now must be like a bar of soap. And it looks like it's an open house this afternoon. And Specky's coming to join us in the gantry. It's no better up here than it is down there, I can tell you. It's Adam Mitchell. And Chris Parker. Mr. Taberner not interested. There's Danny Ikis and Craig Nippers. See, last tackle. And McDowell puts boot to ball. McDowell. And so scrum down Halifax head and ball. We've just got a bit of a wonky camera, Michael, just taking the camera off the stand. It's Halifax coming down towards the halfway line with Cantle on. It's Farrell. And Halifax once again put boot to ball. And it's got to be a drop out under the post. Yeah. So it's a drop out under the post. You might be getting film and no sound shortly.
The £25 prize has been claimed with the £75 prize 4492 still remains.
And that's Moxon.
Whoever has that ticket, if they could come down to the left-hand turnstile here and the blue arrow.
And that's it's got to have gone forward. It's got to go forward in that. Mr. Taberner unsighted, looked to his touch judge who wave play on. So Halifax moving down towards that 10-metre line. It's Griggs and Halifax, and it's knocked on. So Halifax chase short-lived as Adam Mitchell takes a quick tap, and Tomlinson. So Cougars up into the Halifax half of the field. It's Rushforth. And Chris Parker. Jason Clegg, off he goes. Once again, at least 3 Halifax players to drag him down. It's McDowell, Firth, puts a little kick through. It's going to give it, I think. Mr. Taberner wandering round.
From number 5, Andy Robinson.
Andy Robinson, the try scorer.
And Andy is sponsored by Trevor and Margaret Glover. Thank you to the Glovers.
It's moves the score on to Keighley Cougars 20, Halifax 8.
Cougar fans everywhere, give it up for number 5, driver Andy Robinson.
So Adam Mitchell with a difficult kick.
I was in the wrong way. I didn't die.
So not an easy kick from there. Score remains at Keighley Cougars 20, Halifax 8. So a good play from the Cougars, from the Halifax, knocking on over the try line all the way up the park and scoring in the corner. A good crowd down here at Cougar Park despite the horrendous weather conditions, as Halifax put that ball downfield. It's Phil Stevenson. And Max Tomlinson. Now it's like
That's exactly what Joe was.
so it's McDowell. Nippers going in from going away from acting halfback. Good run by Craig Nippers, gets us up towards the halfway line. That's the last tackle. Matty Firth, bang, puts that ball downfield. It'll be scrum down. And the rain abates for a couple of minutes. But the howling wind. It's like I'm a house of horrors up here. So Halifax coming down this Cougar Park slope. Surface water and mud all over now. Not the best conditions for summer rugby, as I like to call it. Anthony Farrell. Halifax, Simon Griggs. Once again, Halifax player staying down. Beginning to feel what Captain Scott felt like in the Antarctic. So the Halifax player, I think it's Simon Griggs, the fullback, who's having to go off. Nice a round of applause as he leaves the field. Probably his best option on an afternoon like this. So Anthony Farrell looking to break down this Cougar defence. Mr. Taberner with his arm raised in the air. That's the last tackle. Moxon puts that ball downfield, and Mr. Taberner blowing his whistle. Cougars back in possession. There's about 12 minutes gone in the second half. Cougars 20 points to 8 in front. And that's Phil Stevenson and Chris Parker. And Cougars just steady progress towards that halfway line. On to Dave Foster. That's the last one. Kick downfield, best option. There it goes. Good kick and chase from the Cougars required. And a good kick and chase it was. Halifax tackled inside their own 20. And Cantillon in at the acting half-back onto Ryan McDonald. And it's Moxon. Pretty awful play the ball, but that's the last tackle. Moxon. And back and Rush eventually picking that ball up. And Thomason on to Phil Stevenson, but once again Halifax not standing square. Mr. Taberner there just conducting with his arms, indicating just moving off centre. And Phil Stevenson. And Patterson. That ball along the line. I think it's Danny Akis, not too sure. Mud all round his number, nevertheless, that's Matty Firth. That's McDowell. That's Matty Foster. Cougars are looking to go into that corner. Tackle just a few metres out from the try line. That's the last one. McDowell. So touch judge and Mr. Taverner just having a quick word. And scrum down, gone Cougars' way. So Cougars with a 10-metre scrum, and McDowell looking to go towards the try line, being dragged and slid along in the mud, and that's Rushforth. Cougars just need to settle the 4 more tackles from right on the Halifax try line. It's probably just a bit better for a few more metres to work with this time. Chris Parker, and he's in for a try. Dive doing it at the side of the ruck. Danny Akis, the man, diving under the ruck, drive, slid over. It makes the score now. Keighley Cougars 24, Halifax 8. We must apologise for the standard of the video this afternoon. It's just Michael having to contend with driving wind, driving rain. Poor chap shivering. We're doing our best, trying to bring you the best of the action down here at Cougar Park. We're just gonna, Michael's just gonna put the camera down. He's not having a good afternoon of it. He's dressed for a summer outing rather than a wet winter's afternoon. And Adam missing with that kick.
We do have 1 or 2 players who still don't have a sponsor this year. If you'd like to sponsor them, would you see Julie in the English commercial office?
So score remains at 24 points to 8 to the Cougars. There's Halifax kick-off. And Danny Akis, well done by Danny Akis, running that ball out of defence. And it's Andy Robinson.
some push on these ball sets.
And Phil Stevenson. And McDowell. And Danny Akis. See, last tackle, Cougars still penned inside their own half. Matty Firth does well, gets that ball. Gets a kick downfield, gets Halifax back down towards the 20. And it's Danny Arnold, it's Moxon, Richard Smith. Halifax coming down towards the halfway line.
He's going to look to go more and more because he's not getting the response off the players down at his counter line. The aim dropping pick him up.
McDonald picking that ball up for Halifax, but he's tackled just inside the Keighley half of the field. That's the last one. Danny Fearon puts boot to ball. So it'll be a tap on the 20 as we move up to the halfway point of the second half. Just 20 minutes remaining down here at Cougar Park. Cougars 24 points to the 8 to the good. And that ball ripped out, so penalty to the Cougars. Patterson plays the ball rather than boost it to touch. Discretion being the better part of valour as Cougars move up towards the halfway line. It's Patterson.
Number 14, Craig Nippers.
Craig Nippers going off, had a good spell as Cougars. And Halifax discipline just slightly going as Matt Foster steps inside. Mr. Taverner calling them Halifax back, not looking at the players. Nipper, as McDowell, should I say, takes that ball down towards the Halifax try line. And a knock on. Not to worry. It's a time wasting exercise. Scrum down. So scrum down Halifax, head and ball. Michael going to try and brave the elements and put the camera back on his stand. So just bear with us as he goes, wanders all over. It's Ryan McDonald. Looks like Paul Davidson and Mr. Taverner getting over the play of the ball as the crowd light up. It's Danny Fearon. So, and Fearon once again. Offload, super tackle from Matt Foster. Well, it was, but Chris Norm just managed to get away from him. So, a fly kick, and both those Halifax players are offside, but Mr. Taverner allowing play to go on. And Rushforth. And Uzenas coming from the stand. Touch judge on that far side, unmoved as Rushforth takes the ball onto that halfway line. And that's Andy Robinson. And Danny Akis. And that's it. They really got to sort that out. That arm came from a long way back. That arm came from a long way back, that a premeditated tackle. It wasn't careless, it was deliberate. You could see him line that one up, couldn't you, Ian?
Substitution for the Cougars, number 10, Chris Parker, replaces number 17, Danny Eakins.
Danny Eakins going off after that, taking that smack. Chris Parker on the park as Phil Stevenson drives towards that line for the Cougars. And Matty Firth trying to dance his way through. That's Chris Parker. Cougars camped just outside the Halifax try line. McDowell, he's at the top gear. McDowell for the Cougars, he gets hit with a high tackle. And that's the second high tackle in 5 minutes. Mr. Tabner doing nothing more than award a penalty. It needs to start acting on this now. Halifax discipline, as I said a few minutes ago, just starting to get ruffled. Probably realising they're on the back of the first defeat in the Arriva Trains Cup this year. As we've got quarter of an hour to go. Adam Mitchell taking the sensible option. Means Halifax are going to score 3 times. Michael's still trying to get the screw up. Sensible play by Adam Mitchell.
Penalty conversion by number 6, Adam Mitchell.
Makes the score now, Keighley Cougars 26, Halifax 8.
It's the Cougars 26, Halifax 8.
So Halifax once again getting things underway. Matty Firth onto Chris Parker. Chris Parker being solid in defence for the Cougars this afternoon. It's Andy Robinson. And Phil Stevenson. And Simeon Hoyle on to James Rushforth. Cougars moving up towards the halfway line. Simeon Hoyle. Good run again from Simeon Hoyle. Makes good metres from that acting half-back berth. Back to Matty Firth. Matty Firth once again. Puts that ball downfield. Takes Halifax back. And Cougars once again following that kick up, making the tackle. Halifax having to work hard from within their own half to get anything here. As Richard Smith tackle below us. And that's a knock on. Halifax just not coping with the wet conditions down here at Cougar Park. Keighley Cougars, their completion rate around about 80% for the game, I would think, at the moment. And Simeon Hoyle and Patterson. Mr. Calvert, our statistician, telling us it's 13 out of 14 in the second half completion rate. That's excellent in these conditions. You'd accept that in dry conditions. As Cougars once again, it's Matty Firth. Now Matty Firth. And that's the last tackle. And it's just slings that one out the back door to Matty Steele, but it's a handover. 28 minutes gone down here at Cougar Park. And Halifax right on their own 20. Cantillon, Fearon. He's got no friends down here at Cougar Park. That ball along the line. Not the best of passes, but Richard Smith eventually picking it up. Matt Foster, he slings it. Richard Smith slings it inside to Sticks. Grix, and it's knock on. But I think that's both Grix boys down. That's I think that's John Ray, the physio, I think.
Is that John aside me? Look alike, don't they? The Ray twins. What, Ray twins? Yeah.
Great wins.
Ray twins. Look alike, don't they?
So it's scrum down.
Looks like the wood tash though, don't you?
Cougar head and ball. So about 10 minutes plus a bit of stoppage time as McDowell breaks from the rear of that scrum. And Matty Steele. And that's the third one now. It's time we sorted it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next action down here at Cougar Park is the under-21 pre-season friendly on Wednesday, the 31st of March against Featherstone Rovers. Kick-off is at 7:30, and the under-18s have got a friendly on Saturday, the 3rd of April against Lee, and kick-off then is 2:30 in the afternoon.
Can I just get the message on?
So Adam Mitchell.
They're looking out on the feet here, and he'll just check up on the door.
So So Adam Mitchell trying to tag another 2 points on. So Michael shaking away. It's like he's either too cold or he's going cold turkey from last night's beer. And we'll not worry too much about that one.
Next time the Cougars are in action down here in the Arriva Cup is on Sunday the 4th of April. Kick-off is at 3 o'clock and we're playing Rochdale Bulls.
Street revenge.
And we're filming from one side.
Well, I'm not here, so it doesn't matter.
It's the cool though.
I'm not here next to fourth where I'm up in Newcastle.
Keep going, stay away.
So Halifax dropping out from the 22 after the missed penalty kick. And it's probably the first real error in general play.
The winning ticket, Golden Gamble half-time winning ticket has not been claimed. Have a look at your ticket.
And it's Fearon. And Fearon running down towards the Cougar 20. Halifax coming back inside and going back to the left. And Fearon and Moxon, cracking tackle from Simeon Hoyle. And Farrell. And Halifax still trying to find a way through this fairly resolute Cougar defence this afternoon. And eventually, and Cougars this time pulled up for a high tackle, but nothing more than a slap, nothing like the Halifax high tackles, as Halifax tackled just a couple of metres short of the Cougar try line. It's Fearon trying a bit of fancy football. And Farrell offloads. Halifax looking to get in the corner. And Cantillon knocking on, so we'll have a scrum down. Keighley Cougar head and ball. And that's Andy Robinson. And Matt Foster. And Phil Stevenson. And Chris Parker. Good play from the Cougars once again from deep in their own half, getting all the way up the park. And that's a nicely flighted kick. And once again, a good kick and chase from the Cougars. And Cantillon. It's Paul Davidson as Halifax just creep into the Keighley half of the field once again. And Fearon. Oh, well done by Chris Parker. Just take the sensible option. And Matt Foster. It's a good run from Matt Foster down up to the 20. Simeon Oiling acting half-back. Sensible play, just taking it forward. That ball just lost. Just about 4 minutes plus stoppage time down there at Cougar Park.
By Raymond Pearson, the Keighley Cougars man of the match goes to number 17, Danny Eakes. And thank you to all our sponsors this afternoon for a very enjoyable day down at Cougar Park. The attendance this afternoon, a magnificent 1,920.
And Farrell.
Thank you all for coming down and making this day such a special occasion.
And that's Moxon. Once again, Halifax nowhere to go this afternoon at Cougar Park. Throwing the ball wide, little kick through. Well picked up by Andy Robinson, taking the tackle behind the line. And Mr. Taverner calling off time. And Adam Mitchell drops that ball out, picked up by Danny Fearon.
Number 8, Phil Stevenson. Pearson is replaced by number 17, Danny Eakes. Will play, Phil.
Davidson. And Anthony Farrell. And Moxon. And a pretty awful pass picked up by Patterson. That's Dave Foster. And Max Tomlinson. Max Tomlinson once again. And Mitchell Parker. And just over a minute to go here at Cougar Park. Score still remains at Keighley Cougars 26, Halifax 8. And Fearon. And Sir Richard Smith, Davidson, forward pass.
See you later, Ian. Yeah, it's time, mate. 5 rounds, Stuart. Well, you can see us making it. Have you got that key, Stuart?
So final passage of play down at Cougar Park. Almost time for me to go to work. And that's Matty Steele.
Why didn't you get one finish, Phil? Yeah, that's what I mean. Are you alright? Yeah, we just want because you can, you know,
And that's Chris Parker. We're into stoppage time now at Cougar Park as Simeon Hoyle goes from acting half-back. Shoves that ball, it's Patterson. Patterson, it's going to be tackled. And Mitchell, Matty Firth, and McDowell. This last tackle, Simeon Hoyle going on his own. And just bounces one way, bounces the other. Halifax picking up the loose ball, but Dave Foster making the tackle as Halifax take the ball into the Cougar half of the field. It's Cantillon and Moxon. Once again, the Cougars making the tackle. Halifax just 15 metres out from that try line. It's Fearon and Richard Smith.
2 minutes.
And Halifax looking to try and get some points on the board in the second half, but there goes the final hooter down at Cougar Park. Cougar Park, Keighley Cougars getting their revenge for the opening day defeat up at Thrumall. That's Halifax's first defeat of the season, but excellent game down here in the conditions. Final score, Keighley Cougars 26, Halifax